and gentlemen, good evening. It's great to see all of you here today. I hope that you are able to, have your dinner already and ready to attend today's session. Okay, so for today, I am particularly excited because we are starting on a very interesting topic. And I also think it's a very needful topic for all of us to know. Okay, because as we are going into another era of modernity, and I think we all can also relate to the fact that things are changing so fast, okay, especially the next 2 years. So it's no surprise that it's going to influence many things around us, okay, which we can already witness. So there are already some changes happening in the health space. And I think it's also good to have the foresight to look into the future. So where would we be? Okay, don't talk about 10 years, 2 years from now. All right. How confident do you feel about Unicity and the products that we have? And do we have a place in this saturated market? All right. I think it's a very important question that all of us should know and you should be confident. All right. Especially if you are with us for some time. Okay. So before we start, just a heads up to everyone who's on this call here today. So I'm so glad to see many people who are from other countries visiting us today. So I hope that, that you'll be able to get what I'm trying to say today. All right. So before we start, let me share my screen. So now today's topic is biohacking, science of the future. This sounds a bit like, wow, very futuristic, right? So what does this actually mean? All right. Wait, let me. Okay. So now we know, especially for the past 2 years, just to give everyone a summary, that our life has already been so fully integrated by AI, right? In the very beginning, I remember when it was introduced, many people thought it was a joke. We thought that this is like initially when I heard about ChatGPT, I thought it's a scam. All right, I thought this thing is not going to work. But fast forward to today, it's such an important tool in our lives, and we use this for everything. Okay, sending emails, and if you're not sure about something, we'll double check. Okay, help us solve questions, and at the rate in which it does research for us. Okay, it saves us so much time. Okay, so we cannot deny the fact that AI is already in our everyday lives. So let's see how this is now entering into the healthcare. So most hospitals would have at least one or two robotic machines already. Okay, of course, this is still at a very early stage where they're still testing out. This is one of the machines that they want to eventually use machines instead of doctors to do procedures because it's a lot more precise that way. You can make a lot more accurate diagnosis, and of course, we can solve a lot of labor problems when it comes to being in a very crowded hospital setting. So now it's I'm pretty sure even in your own countries, right, that you will have heard of robotic surgeries for knee replacement surgeries. Now they're going into stent, heart cells, and even things like operation on the eyes. So robotics is already catching up and it's going to replace a lot of jobs. Okay, not just only, I'm pretty sure you all know, but in the healthcare specifically, a lot of menial jobs will be replaced by using robot to solve a lot of problems. Okay, so I come across this pretty interesting thing that I want to share with all of you. Now, they are actually looking into vaccine for cancer. Okay, this is a bit of a side thing, but of course it relates to today's topic. Because I think you all know that now cancer, right? The only way for cancer treatment is chemo or radiotherapy, correct? Then you have to go through a very invasive procedure and there are many sessions, okay, for you to be able to get rid of that cancer cell. And there's always risk of remission. So can you imagine that eventually we will be in a time where cancer can be treated like how we were to treat infectious disease like COVID? Okay, if there is something that you can inject to prevent you from getting cancer, I'm like, wow. Okay, I don't know when is that going to come, but that is definitely something that they're thinking about. Okay, but that is of course one thing. And another thing they are thinking about solving is they want to look into injection therapy. So rather than going through a lot of sessions, one injection can help people to treat those who have, like really serious cancer issues. So they are actually saying that now they're going to, since we're on the topic of biohacking, right? So they are going to inject some mRNA, okay? And once it's injected in our body, it can teach our body cells to target cancer cells. And they're even talking about like how it can only kill the specific cancer cell, but don't kill the other cells. Because we know now one of the big shortfalls of chemotherapy that you wipe out every single cell in your body, right? Even the healthy one. So they are the kind of research that is going into cancer and cancer treatment and cancer prevention is now, of course, it's still very early stages, but it just shows how fast and how modern and forward thinking this whole era about healthcare is right now. Okay, it's robotic, it's one thing, but when it comes to development of drugs and how we can better treat even serious things like cancer, I think it's a very interesting field to look into right now. Right? Okay, but despite such great development, wow, cancer vaccine, right? People should be taking lesser medicine. Do you agree? Okay, if we are moving into a more healthier society, okay, by right, we should not be taking so much medication. You agree with me, right? But current statistics don't say the same thing. Okay, so if you look at here, right, it's 2022, okay, it's such a big figure. 1,939.7 billion. Okay, that is the market share in 2022. Okay, so fast forward today is 1.6 trillion. Okay, and we have increased 322.7 billion. Okay, this is the industry, the total drug industry in the world. And this is a very conflicting statement, right? Since we are developing so advanced, okay, we have the best cancer treatment now is already in research, but we are still pretty much stuck with taking more and more medications. And this is projected to increase in the following years. Okay, so what contributes to that huge statistic? So let's look into the top 5 most widely used medications in the world. So can you guess what is the top 5? So number 1, can you see the most widely used medication is cholesterol medicine, okay? It's not like some sophisticated thing, but these are so common. All right, thyroid deficiency, number 2. Number 3 is metformin, high blood pressure, and amlodipine. Okay, these are super common medications, all right, that you can see widely used, but surprise or not surprise, despite of how far advanced we are as a globe, okay, but we still cannot graduate from metabolic problems. Okay, this is why I want to re-emphasize the fact that we are talking about the most advanced technology, right? But what are we doing really when it comes to tackling the most basic fundamental problem? Okay, this is a big sign. And with all the research that we read, but nowhere says that this is going to get better. Okay, in fact, people are projecting even higher rates of obesity and things like that. Okay, so this shows a really big loophole. Something is not really right somewhere, okay, that metabolic health is still under threat. Okay, despite of all these technology and the whole AI thing that we're living in right now, that all these are still factors that we all face, okay, on a day-to-day basis. Okay, such as poor food choices, stress, poor sleep, or pollution. Okay, this is a huge thing right now. Microplastics, okay, they are a really big topic right now. Pesticide, antibiotic use, and poor gut health. So these are things that, unfortunately, we cannot really advance from, because this world is getting sicker by the day, all right, with global warming and things like that. So metabolic health is still something very fragile. And in fact, it's something that may even get worse as time passes. Okay, so of course, with all these things in consideration, people definitely think about different methods. How can I hack my body? All right, is there a way that I can hack my body so that I can be able to live longer, right? So that I can live healthier. I don't have to face, diseases, So what is it that we can do to hack so-called our bodily systems? So I know this sounds like a very fancy term, okay? When I first looked at it, I was like, wow, what is this? Does this really just point towards genetic manipulation or not? Okay, but as you read into it, actually the term biohacking is a very broad, general term. The very simple definition is a change aspect of human biology to improve health, performance, or well-being. Okay, anything that you do that can change or impact your inner biology is a form of biohacking. So, stuff like dietary and certain nutrition, okay, taking supplements, for example, does have certain impact on your biology. So indirectly, this is actually a form of biohacking. Okay, and there are things like fasting. So fasting is also a kind of biohacking, okay, because if you really look into the science, there's stuff like autophagy, okay, how it can just transform yourself to be a lot healthier. And of course, now there's a much more, there's like a conversion back into old practices like sauna, okay, but of course, cold plunge is a new thing. And apparently, if you wear those tracker, it's also a form of biohacking. So I was like, oh, okay. All right. So I'm not too sure about you, okay? But when I look into this, I was a little bit, maybe I was a bit disappointed, okay? Because I thought that this word is more like sophisticated word, okay? But actually, in terms of this word in general, it does encompass a lot of these things that we are already doing. Yeah. And these are things that, if you're practicing, you are already doing some form of biohacking. Okay, so of course, some people are not quite settled with these practices only because this may sound a bit too basic. So of course, with biohacking, okay, this will be more closely related to this term, in my opinion. So that's where there's a lot of genetic expression, okay, things that claim to influence your genes, okay, such as this kind of like ready diagnose uh those DNA test kit, okay, that you see a lot of advertisement online. Yeah, plenty of all these. You see all these advertisement and say you can trace your ancestor from don't know how many generations. And some people get really emotional about it when they see, wow, I actually have Western blood in me, that kind of thing. Okay, so all these things sounds really great and sounds really fancy that we can somehow hack our genes, okay, to be better in that sense. But this whole area about genetic expression is still quite uncertain. Okay, and we are unable to really measure the real impact of all these things. Okay, but of course, the things that we say just now, some of those natural methods, of course, dietary changes, fasting, all those are actually a form of biohacking. Okay, so of course, with all these metabolic issues that we're facing, this word biohacking is going to be more and more popular as time comes. Okay, because we all want to find a natural method that can help us to somehow hack through our metabolic system. Okay, it's going to be really very you will hear a lot of all these kind of terms coming up. So because of this, right, it's going to get harder and harder to be relevant in such a saturated market. Okay, because you're going to hear all kinds of signs coming up, claim to do this and do that and cure this and that, right? So with the current pace of advancement, many solutions will be phased out or outdated quickly that they cannot survive, okay, with such a rapid changing market. And if we don't innovate fast enough, okay, you'll be irrelevant. Okay, somehow you'll be forgotten or okay, it's just something that you forget. Just like COVID. It's such a big pandemic, but for somehow I feel like people have already moved on from it, right? Somehow it has become irrelevant. And are all new science real science? Okay, this is also a very important thing that we need to know. Because other companies can claim to, okay, I'm gonna give you this thing that can change your genetic expression. Okay, for example. But are those new science real science? Okay, we also have to be careful. Are those real or fake science? Okay, in such a way. Okay, so of course we have to bring our most important products. Okay, the feel great practice. So you may be thinking, how can we fit into this whole narrative about biohacking? Since this is such a hot topic right now that almost every wellness channel is talking about hacking through your normal biology. Okay? So of course we have two main things, but today we're going to talk more about the feel great, okay, which is what we are focusing today. Okay, so very important we want to know, right? Because this word biology sounds very like a very big word. But we want to really understand how can we influence cell biology? All right. And of course, we need to go into the most basic term, which is what happens to our biology when sugar levels are high. Okay, what exactly happens in our body? We know it's bad, we know it's toxic, but what and how? So I'm going to show you, okay, how does sugar itself can change. They literally change your biology 180 degrees. Right, so if you can look at my screen here, there's actually an illustration about cells and surrounding it are blood vessels, right? Okay, so all these are fat cells, which all of us will have. Okay, so once we have sugar in our blood, okay, which is here, okay, naturally it will trigger this hormone known as insulin. Okay, so once we have insulin in our body, all right, it will have a different set of reaction. Okay, so of course with insulin, it signals that the sugar in our blood, it should enter into our cells. Okay, so it will shuttle into our cells to make our cells well fed. Okay, so that is actually a normal response. Okay, but what happened next is that when your cell is fully well fed, okay, there's a surplus of sugar in your blood. So it has nowhere to go already because there's a lot of sugar, right? So it will enter your fat cell even after your cell has been used. So when that happens, this is where the problem starts. Okay, your fat cells will start to expand, and it will come to a point that your fat cell become too much, and it will split, and you will have more fat cell in your body. Okay, and remember, fat cell can you can split, but you cannot burn it. Okay, it will not reduce in number. Okay, it only shrink in size. So once you have a lot of fat cells that is big in your body, it will trigger a lot of reaction. So this is where your biology starts to change. Okay, you trigger, okay, of course your fat percentage increase, but it will trigger a lot of inflammation to happen. Once there's a lot of fat percentage and your fat storage starts to be big, okay, it will have all kinds of signals and your biology starts to change. And this is where glycation comes in, okay, where there's too much inflammation going on and there's too much of excess sugar. And this is where a lot of unnecessary connection will start to happen between your cell and your blood vessel. Okay, this is what we call glycation. Okay, glycation, all these are actually sugar molecules, that are accessed in the bloodstream that can be destructive and how it could bind to the different cells of your body. All right, so this is how our biology can change 180 degrees simply because it starts from sugar. All right, so you may not fully understand this number 4, right? So let me show you a graphic. Okay, so just now that's my PowerPoint drawing, so it may not be very accurate for you to see what does that mean. So glycation can happen anywhere in our body. Okay, it's not just in our blood vessel. It happen in our skin. Okay, so this is our skin layer. So this is what happens when glycation happens. Okay, where there's a lot of toxic sugar molecules, as we can see this now, you start to connect to your different fibers and you start to create a lot of distortion. And that's where there starts to be sign of wrinkle and sagging skin. All these things start to happen as glycation occurs as well. Okay, and fun fact, glycation actually also occurred in the eye. So for those who have pre-existing really high sugar levels are prone to a much faster rate of cataract as fast as 10 years compared to those who have normal sugar levels. And this is not just limited to the eye. It could happen in any other organ like our blood vessel. That's why it leads to a higher risk of cardiac arrest, okay, kidney problems, So all these glycation can potentially lead to a lot of diseases that can wear us down greatly. This is the reason why, despite of so much advancement, strangely, we just cannot seem to graduate out of this problem. There's sugar, insulin, all these things so basic, right? But it's because of all these things that accumulate together, it creates a big problem that many people cannot solve. And we know this very well, okay? We all have one or two friends that just can't seem to overcome this problem. So this is where I would say the ultimate biohack comes into the picture. All right, we spoke so much about it. Okay, many people can talk about this and that, this and that. But to me, I feel like those are like basic biohack. But what we have here is the real biohack, okay? Because I'm pretty sure you all have heard about GLP-1, that it is such a hot topic for 2 years. It still continues to be a really in-demand drug. Okay, even though it is so expensive, like one jet is can be 1,000 ringgit and one cost could be 4,000. It is still in demand, and it's still so popular. And the only way that people can get GLP-1 is from injection. So even until today, there is no like direct, supplement that can give you GLP-1. Okay, there's no way. So the only way that we can is through food. And now, food sources, not many food sources, even until today, can prove that it can increase our naturally occurring GLP-1. Okay, and this is actually it's a very, how to say, a very remarkable biohack. Okay, you were to ask me. All right. So how remarkable or powerful is this GLP-1? Okay, let me show you through this picture. So basically, this is how a normal body will look like, right? You see there's blood and there's a lot of sugar, and post 2 hours later, you may still have lingering amount of sugar and insulin still in your body. So that's where a lot of problems start to happen. Even if you don't eat, you still have a lot of sugar in your bloodstream. But once you have GLP-1, it really get rid of everything so fast. Okay, like for example, if you have extra GLP-1, you clear sugar so much faster. You're so much more efficient in dealing with excess insulin levels. You go back to normal levels better. And with what we have talked about just now, it has you really eliminate a lot of that inflammation and glycation problem really, just because you have this hack that can really help you to do a lot of all these things so much faster. So this is the reason that GLP-1 will continue and still is in demand today. Right? And we want to have more GLP-1. The more we have, the better it will be. Okay, and the best hack is that you don't have to inject anything. You only need to take two products in one practice. Pretty awesome, right? Okay, so there's some new research to update you on. Of course, I have to share with you some of the existing ones that we have. Okay, so the first one is Unimate. So we have this pretty much groundbreaking research done by Dr. Benjamin, where he introduced Unimate. And with an in-house study, he managed to find, okay, really great results about how individuals who are on yerba mate have close to double the amount of GLP-1, okay, compared to control group. So these are people who drink water. So for those who have yerba mate, have close to double. So how this look like is like that. Okay, so for example, our body, right? If we have GLP-1, okay, and if we have yerba mate, basically it doubles everything that you have. So the way that your body were to process sugar is going to be a lot faster and more efficient compared to someone who's simply drinking water. Okay, so this is where you already have that biohack instilled in your body already. So what is even more interesting is this new study, okay? So we have established that we can increase our GLP-1 levels through immunotherapy. So this is really new, just released this month, okay? And this is also done by Dr. Benjamin, that he found that we can actually increase the expression of the genetic expression of GLP-1 in our body. Okay, so through his groundbreaking study again, he followed up with it. He's able to identify gene expression increase of GLP-1, compared to a control group. Okay, like how I told you before, it's actually very difficult to find something that you can prove that can increase your genetic expression, right? It's very difficult. Okay, a lot of it, like those viral DNA tests and that kind of thing. Okay, I don't know. To some reason, it's like a bit of quick science to me. But the fact that you can prove that it can increase genetic expression on this GLP-1, I think is really awesome. Yeah, it really solidifies that our product has such a big potential, okay, to even compete with what is in the pharmaceutical market right now. Okay, it increases significantly genetic expression. And not just only that, he went further to test the hormones level. So he's also able to find a consistent trend where yerba mate significantly increases the hormone level of GLP-1 in the body. Okay, so it's more than just like, so it's more than just like double the amount, but it solidifies the fact that it is really working. Okay, because this is an additional study on top of that first study that we did. So this further, solidifies the fact that what we have can, in fact, really increase GLP-1 levels. So I think this is really very cool. And it should make you even more confident with what you have, okay? That, is the ultimate biohack. Okay, next, we of course have to look into how GLP-1 relate to BioLife S also, right? So GLP-1 is actually produced in the gut, especially this L cell, all right? So it needs a lot of food for your L cell to produce this thing called GLP-1. Okay, And we only use a type of fiber which is soluble fiber, those that can dissolve in water. So one of the best way to increase natural GLP-1 in the body is using soluble fiber actually. Okay, we need to have a combination of good bacteria also to make it even more conducive to produce additional GLP-1 in our body. So one of the best natural food to also reduce insulin and sugar level. Okay, and we have more of this, it can also increase our metabolism and our capacity to better use sugars in our body as well. Okay, but of course, not all kinds of fiber can influence our L cells to produce GLP-1. So it needs to be specific soluble fibers. It has to go through a fermentation process to produce this thing called SCFA. And then through this method, it produces GLP-1. Okay, so it uses the gut. It's a very important site to produce GLP-1, right? And this is also pretty important because GLP-1 don't last very long in the body. Okay, it only have a half-life of like 2 to 5 minutes, that kind of thing. So if you want it to stay as long as possible, right, you need to take something to maintain it. So GLP-1 that's from the soluble fiber does help to maintain it at a much longer time. Okay, so GLP-1 level will drop drastically. So taking this BIOHACKING as not just only curb the sugar that we take from food, it can also help our GLP-1 to last longer in our body. So we can enjoy even lasting effect of circulating GLP-1 in us. Okay, so in conclusion, our study highlights the importance of dietary fiber and how it can maintain L cell secreting more GLP-1 and maintaining our intestinal integrity. All right, so both of these have a very synergistic effect. Okay, so we see how Unimate can directly influence the genetic expression of GLP-1, right? And how Unicity Parasite S, okay, can help to maintain that and to sustain it for a much longer period. So both of them actually help one another to achieve even better effects for our body. Okay, so this is the glucose change post-meal. So once you take this meal, you can see how it reduces the impact of sugar in our body. And from there, it drastically changes our biology. Okay, so this is how our products stand compared to what is in the market out there. Okay, so if you have this, is your natural GLP-1 support, okay, and it's sustainable for lifetime, no side effect, no needles or medication, okay, compared to what is out there right now. It's super expensive, a lot of side effect, and it is effective, but your body does pay a price for it. Okay, and how BIOHACKING S is so different from other standard fiber. Okay, we have a cluster of different fiber that we specifically study, convenient, okay, unlike other generic sources, limited metabolic support. Okay, so what we have really is the ultimate biohack. Okay, I'm so happy when I found out all these things, and we used to think that we are so basic. Why are we always going through? Why is our company always just focusing on metabolic health? And when you can find data to support your cause and can support the science that you have, it really makes me a lot more confident about what we are having. And what we have is really something that the world needs. Okay? Okay, so this is a very important question back to where we started. So will this science remain in demand in the next 10 years? Okay, you can say that, oh, Claudia, you're just being too excited. Since this is really hot for 2 years, are you sure this can last through the next decade? All right, so I have data to show you. Okay, so apparently this is the projection, the market of GLP-1. Okay, so the market in GLP-1 for 2024 is USD 25.10 billion. All right, this is just last year's data. Okay, so they project up to 2031, which is about 6 years from now, it's 55.7 billion. Okay, so it's a huge market share, and this is just 6 years from now. We are 2025, right? So it shows no signs of slowing down. And if you look at this data, it shows an upward trend. Okay, from 20, it was discovered 2022. So now we're 2024, we're only here, And if you go beyond 2034, right? Such a big market share. Okay, and it's all targeting what? Metabolic health, Okay, So it's not, I mean, cancer vaccine is cool, right? We know there's well, we can save a lot of lives, but I don't think the market share is as big as this. Really. Okay. And what we have is non-invasive, all right? So I think that's so much better. Okay, so what does this mean for all of us? Okay, as we come to a conclusion of today's session. So what does this mean to us? Okay, so by 2050, obesity is projected to contribute to the highest number of deaths, okay, up to 102.8% increase from 2019. Okay, so this is many years from now, 2050. It looks like obesity is still going to be a big problem. Okay, followed by hypertension, we increased by 61%. High cholesterol will increase by 60%. But what's more alarming to me is type 2 diabetes. Okay, it's going to increase by 158.6% from 2019. And non-alcoholic fatty liver disease is going to project 158.4%. Okay, so this means that, wow, type 2 diabetes is going to be an even bigger issue compared to now. Okay, we are 2025. All right. So just 25 years from now, okay, and you can see that this problem is not going to go away. And this is from journals, okay, and they project that the world is still going to be facing this, if not even more serious than now. So where do we stand? Okay, so GLP-1's remarkable ability to reduce sugar, manage insulin, cholesterol, and fat can help many people. Okay, so what we read just now, and we know with the current change of events that many people need GLP-1. Okay, it doesn't matter whether you're overweight or not. I think healthy people like us would also need to have this GLP-1. Okay, even for healthy people. Okay, if we can um, be healthy for a longer period of time, okay, we can have a longer life, a healthier life. Okay, why not? You don't have to wait until you're sick, right? And of course, we know that people are unwilling to go for invasive options, especially with GLP-1. It's so expensive, so expensive. And I think that many people cannot afford it. So with this natural solution that we have, we can really boost people's confidence to try. And it's only how much, right? Okay, so compared to all these drugs, which is like about 4 to 5,000 a month. Okay, and the research of Vinny Mate and Barzak as continues to advance. Okay, so you see we have new studies that build up from our first study. So every 2 years, you will see a new study. Okay, Dr. Benjamin will be publishing something new about what we have. So it will continue to advance and show even more astounding results about how it can help metabolic health. Okay, so with Unicity's strong market presence and financial position, okay, it will be continue to be competitive. Okay, despite the ever-changing industry. Okay, we know that it's not easy. Okay, our company has lasted through like 20, 30 years. We have gone through so much. Okay, and our core products still remain the same. Okay, our BioStack S, okay, those who have been us for a while would know that it's a 20, 30-year-old product. We are still selling it today. Okay, like Unimate have also gone through close to a decade and we're still selling it today. And if not, it's one of our core products. Okay, so if anything at all that you get from this call, I hope that you are confident with what you have. Okay, it's not just two products, like, okay, anything you can find outside. Okay, we have the science to back it up, and we have new research that can show how this GLP-1 can be increased in our body with the use of these two products. Okay, so you should be feeling really excited, okay, and feeling really good about what you have, and the potential and the market size is huge. All right. So with this, I hope that you have learned something new and you are excited to share with everyone you know. All right. So thank you. Thank you so much, everybody, for attending today's session. Okay, so we're going to open to a moment of Q&A. So please, you can ask me anything if you want to. Okay, and this chat will be available for that. Right. So if you have anything that any other products out of food grade, if you want to ask, that's okay also. Right. But let me drink water first. Okay. Give me a moment. Okay. Right. Wow, we have quite a number of people joining us on this call today. Okay, great. Okay, we have one question already. If the person is already on Ozempic, what would be the best way for them to take FG? Need to stop Ozempic. Okay, this is quite a good question. I think if the person is already on Ozempic, we have to see how far in are they on the treatment. Okay, because once the person is on, if it's in the beginning stage of Ozempic, it's like for example 1 to 2 weeks, right? It's okay that they taper off Ozempic, okay, and they will be on FG. But if they're on a certain period of time, they'll have a lot of bodily changes. Very likely, they will have a very low metabolic rate. They have very low appetite to eat, and their whole metabolism is going down. And they may have also lost substantial amount of muscle mass also. So from there, of course, we have to talk to the doctor, lah, right, to see how their body is like. Okay, they might be not in a very good state metabolically. So if the doctor would be willing to taper them off, they can be on few grade, but they may need to be on few adjustment. Okay, they may need to take additional protein. Okay, and for example, they may have to go. We need to adjust their fasting. They may not be able to go 16-hour fast because they will be a bit too low for their metabolic rate because with GLP-1, right, it really slows down their metabolism. And if on 16 hour, it may be a bit too harsh for their body, or they may not see results. Okay, so we have to do a bit of adjustment there, maybe reduce the fasting hours to 12 hours. But I think generally a transition to FG is not a problem. Okay, unless they have other existing conditions as they are on GLP-1. But I think on general, I don't think there'll be any conflict. Well, of course, they have to talk to their doctor and that kind of thing. But if they decide to stop, I think they can be on FG. Yeah, provided they don't have any side effects out from their current treatment plan. So definitely we can ease them into that program and to adjust some of the things that they're taking. And from there we can see how we can help them into transition fully into good. Okay, I think that's a great question, All right, next. If S is, can you replace with live fiber? You cannot replace with live fiber, okay? Because live fiber and Biostaf S are very different. First of all, the type of fiber that they use, both are, one is insoluble and soluble fiber, and the formulation and everything, they have a very different function. Live fiber is more for the gut, for protecting your gut lining, but S has the effect of reducing your sugar level. So they're actually very different things. But both are good, and you can merge both of them together to give you an even better effect. So I would say that you cannot really replace with it, but you can eat both to experience even greater results. Okay, so is Biostaf E help to increase GLP-1? Okay, we have not done any study to see that yet, but I believe if you to take E and Unimate, there may be some synergistic effect as well. Okay, some people, they say that if they take E and Unimate, it gives them even elevated energy levels. They feel like super, they mix both of them together. Okay, but about E influencing GLP-1, I'm not sure about that, okay, because there's no studies about that at our standpoint at the moment. So I can only confirm with you is GLP-1, Unimate. So if you take 2 sachets of Unimate in a day, you experience even higher level of GLP-1. And many people on that, they realize it really can help them to control their appetite a lot better. Okay? Okay, just a question. In lieu of the biohacking direction for few grade, will we eventually be looking at mitochondrial efficiency and cellular autophagy and repair in few grade? Of course, this is an area that we can look into. Yeah, of course. Yeah, I'm pretty sure they're all related. And once you have increased GLP levels, I'm sure they will also positively influence your metabolic rate, and that could also influence the mitochondria in your body cell. And of course, autophagy is something we are really doing with fasting. So I'm sure that eventually we will go into this direction as we move along this training direction. Okay. Okay. Also, can I convey a question on behalf of a friend? Yeah, sure. Okay, so can a 10-year-old child be able to consume Biostaf as a Unimate if 10 is a day? Products are not meant for children, unfortunately. Okay, it's actually meant for, like, if you're talking about the minimum age, I would say 17, 18, a more mature kind of body, because our testing are all done on adult population, so I can't give you any recommendation for children. All right, so that's that. Okay, So 2 uni mate and 1S is better, or 1 uni mate, okay, sorry, 2 uni mate and 1S, or mm, I wouldn't say which is better, but I really think it's your body. But on this standpoint, I would think 2 uni mate, because I'm not too sure if you take, sorry, you're talking about 2S. Okay, I will tell you my recommendation. My recommendation is, if the best is take 2 uni mate and 2 bioscience. Okay, of course, that's the best, right? But currently, we're going into 1 uni mate and 2 bioscience. Okay, so of course, this is really up to individual experimentation. Some people will think that, okay, they can take with 1S, and of course, we know that different people take their way differently. Or you can take 2 uni mate and 1S. Okay, that's fine as well. Some people, because of the GLP-1, they want to experience even greater effect of GLP-1 to go with 2 uni mate and 1S. I think that's okay also. But if you're going to eat a lot of carbohydrate in your food, especially with our Asian diet, there's a lot of carbs for both meals, then I would say that the S, in that sense, would be more helpful, because we need something to curb the carbohydrate content. Okay, so I would comment to say that it's really based on your own lifestyle. And if you think that, that you don't eat a lot of carbs in general, then maybe 2 uni mate and 1S would be more beneficial. But I would stick to the 2S and 1 uni mate. Okay, really because of our diet and lifestyle. How do we usually respond to all these food changes here? So I would go with that. But of course, if you want to take 2 uni mate, 2S, 2 uni mate, 1S, that's really up to you. Okay? If they is taking medication prescribed by the doctor, how should we advise they to take together? Okay, so for medication, we don't mix with supplement. Okay, please space it. We try to space it, like, if you take medication in the morning, then try to take, different meal time, at least one breakfast, one lunch. So we try to space out at a different meal time. That would be best. But of course, if you're talking about cholesterol medicine, sugar level medicine, those are okay, generic. But if I'm blood thinning, if I have very strong blood thinning, then probably we have to look into that even further. Yeah, but if I'm talking about those generic medicine, they are generally okay lah. But try to space the meal time. Don't be too close, and give it at least 3 hours of space. So that there will not be any interactions that happen between food. Okay, now that you see metabolism as the bigger key, where do you think the future of biohacking is needed? Is it just optimizing the body's natural processes? Or do you think we are moving towards a world that we can completely reprogram aging without wow? Well, I'm not surprised if we can go into that direction, okay? But of course, you still need a lot of time to do a lot of research. To completely reprogram aging, I'm not sure about that, okay, honestly, but definitely you are making strides already. So if our products can really influence genetic expression of GLP-1, from that point of view, we are already reversing aging to a certain extent. Okay, because the less sugar, less insulin, our body age will reduce, and our body cells become younger. So yeah, eventually we are taking strides towards that direction. Okay, will Unicity look into another option for subscription to have 2 boxes of Unimate and 1 box of Sync Disability one? No, not at the moment. No. You still continue with your BLS, okay, the 2 BLS that we have. So Unimate, if you want to take, you can add on additionally. But I don't think we are moving to this direction anytime soon. Hmm. Okay, North America, the fuel grade system changed last year to 2 box. Okay, what is the reason for change, and why is it different compared to Asia? We only use 1 box of Unimate and balance. Yeah, in the US, they are moving into this direction, I know. So I'm not too sure about Asia, whether we are going to pick up on it. We're still waiting for directions. But at the moment, whatever we are going through is that. So one major reason is actually due to the food changes that we are currently eating based on the Asia landscape with higher carbohydrate content for both lunch and dinner. So that was a discussion. So moving ahead, there may be changes, I'm not sure. Okay, so they are looking for any updates. If there are any changes, we'll be sure to let you know. Okay. Okay, so morning can take 2 Unimate just to confirm. Can, can. If you can take it, if your body can take like high amount of caffeine, like 400 at one go, why not? Okay, but I think you'll be, yeah, sure, no problem. I got have a friend on Fitbit for about 4 months and never had problem with blood pressure. but lately it has been higher than normal. Okay, she had been taking half the session unit market because of the caffeine sensitivity. Could it be 16.8? I think it really depends on the person. Okay, that could be one. Maybe it's a long fasting time also, because if the person don't have influx of food in the morning, then that could actually influence the blood pressure. But I think there may be some form of intolerance that's happening, so we have to investigate further lah. But I think the 16.8 could be a form, and she's already taking half a sachet. Yeah, so I think it's her individual sensitivity. I think the way her body is adapting to it. So yeah, this is really a case to case basis for us to really know what is the reason. But 16.8 could be a reason. If take two unit multi in the morning, it could break our fast. Yeah, it can break, actually. Oh, talk about, yeah, good question. Yeah, it can actually, because we cannot exceed. But now our unit multi, I think they have changed the calorie to 15, if I'm not mistaken. So I have to double check on that already, because we also have many upgrade in our formula. So as long as we just look at our product label, because we keep changing, upgrading our formula. So if it's less than 30, it's fine. But if our current one, if it's 20, then it may exceed. Yeah. So it's a good point. So if it exceed, then you just make sure that you space it out at least 3 hours, so that you won't have that kind of thing that will happen. Yeah. So yeah, I have to double check on that also. All right. Okay, so thank you very much. I hope I've answered your questions. So if there is any more that you would like to explore further, or any other deeper questions that you want to ask me, please feel free. Okay, and yep. So very likely we'll also do something along this line, and be sure to keep you posted in the future. So once again, thank you everyone for attending. Okay, I'm so glad to see all of you here today. So I wish that you have a good night, sleep, and you're able to remember what I talked to you today. So thank you everyone, and have a great day. Thank you.